I'm glad you're here with me as I continue to read the Bible using the New Heart English Bible Translation. In this episode, I read the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23. Howdy, welcome to God's Adopted. I'm here to help encourage you to grow in faith through stories, teaching, and practical examples so you can experience more of God in and through your life. When we get born again, He adopts us. This podcast is here to encourage us all to grow in becoming the children of God He's adopted us to become. Join me and learn to do like Peter did. Let's get out of the boat and step on the water with Jesus. Matthew chapter 23. Then Jesus spoke to the crowds, to His disciples, saying, Upon the seat of Moses, the Pharisees and scribes sit, all which they will say unto you. Observe and do, but their works do not do, because they say and do not do. For they bind heavy and hard to bear burdens, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves will not lift a finger to help them. But all their works they do to be seen by others. They make their tefillin broad, and enlarge the fringe of their garments, and love the place of honor at feast, the best seats in the synagogues, the salutations in the marketplaces, and to be called rabbi by people. But you are not to be called rabbi, for one is your teacher, and all of you are brothers. Call no man on the earth your father, for one is your Father who is in heaven. Neither be called masters, for one is your master, the Christ. But he who is greatest among you will be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you devour the houses of widows, and for show make long prayers. Therefore you will receive greater condemnation. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you shut up the kingdom of heaven in front of people. For you do not enter in yourselves, neither do you allow those who are entering in to enter. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you travel around by sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he becomes one, you make him twice as much of a son of hell as yourselves. Woe to you, you blind guides who say, Whoever swears by the temple, it is nothing, but whoever swears by the gold of the temple, he is obligated. You blind fools, for which is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctified the gold? Whoever swears by the altar, it is nothing, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it, he is obligated. You blind people, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Therefore, who swears by the altar swears by it, and by everything on it. He who swears by the temple swears by it, and by him who dwells in it. He who swears by heaven swears by the throne of God, and by him who sits on it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you tithe mint and cumin, and have left undone the weightier matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. But you ought to have done these, and not to have left the other undone. You blind guides, who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but within they are full of extortion and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, so that the outside may become clean also. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitened tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but inwardly are full of dead people's bones, and of all uncleanliness. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous to people, but inwardly you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the tombs of the righteous and say, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Therefore you testify to yourselves that you are children of those who killed the prophets. Fill up, then, the measure of your fathers. You serpents, you offspring of vipers, how will you escape the judgment of hell? Therefore, look, I send to you prophets, wise people, and scribes. Some of them you will kill and crucify, and some of them you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute from city to city, that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you killed between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I tell you, all these things will come upon this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her? How often I would have gathered your children together, even as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you would not. Look, your house is abandoned to you. For I tell you, you will not see me from now on until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. I love seeing how our real living God is working in and through our real living lives in this real world. Please subscribe to this podcast and keep listening. If you've been blessed or encouraged in some way and want to leave a review, please do that by writing your review on iTunes. If you haven't already, please drop in and say howdy in our Facebook group when you can. See you next time on The Water with Jesus.